I'm Dr. Pawan Yadav. I'm a consultant pulmonologist at Astra RV Hospital, JP Nagar, Bangalore. Today I'll be talking about lung transplantation procedure. In pulmonology, there are certain conditions. We call them as chronic lung diseases. These are diseases which continue to progress over a period of time. There are conditions like infections. There are conditions like acute exacerbation or bronchial asthma, etc., which are temporarily worsening the patient condition. However, this can be managed on a daily basis or few days of medications, etc. But there are other conditions like, for example, interstitial lung disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, bronchiectasis, and others. These are the diseases which continue to progress despite optimal medical management. This may progress over few months to few years, or few diseases may progress over few decades as well. Eventually, the natural course of the disease is to make the patient more and more debilitated, oxygen dependent, or even BiPAP dependent for that matter. So over the course of the disease, patients tend to develop acute exacerbations, infections requiring multiple hospital admissions, and every hospital admission worsens the condition of the disease significantly. Now, there is definitely adequate medical management available for each of these conditions. For example, in the initial assessment, we may ask for few tests like pulmonary function test, CT scan, or some of these conditions may even require bronchoscopies and biopsies to ascertain the type of the disease and make an appropriate diagnosis. However, even after optimal medical management, if the disease continues to progress, then these conditions may require lung transplantation as the only hope. Because without this process, the natural course would be the patient may succumb to the disease as the disease progresses, and also thereby causing significant distress and pushing the patient to an extremely poor quality of health. Now, lung transplantation has become standard of care in the last few years. There are a significant number of surgeries and procedures being done in Western countries like US, Canada, Europe, etc. So in India, over the last few years, the process of lung transplantation has picked up pace, and it has become a significant boon for these patients with chronic lung diseases. Now, these chronic lung diseases, along with making the patient develop significant lung symptoms like cough, breathlessness, chest discomfort, chest pain, etc., they will also lead to other associated comorbidities like oxygen-dependent patients may develop significant strain on the right heart leading to right heart failure. We call them as cor pulmonale. They may go on to develop severe muscular weakness, osteoporosis, poor nutritional status, depression, etc. So these are all the associated comorbidities which doesn't get better unless underlying disease is taken care of. So along with medical management, this patient also needs extensive amount of attention to other factors like oxygen therapy, BiPAP therapy, and these people need timely vaccination for flu and pneumococcal infections to prevent them from developing recurrent infections. And in order to keep them in good physical shape, they need adequate physical or pulmonary rehabilitation to maintain the muscles in good shape. They need a good dietary plan to maintain adequate amount of calories and proteins so that they don't lose weight. So when the patient health, for example, patient lung condition continues to deteriorate, our focus in this group of patients is to make sure that apart from lungs, everything else, all the other organs and the muscles and the bones stays in good shape so that they can still be a good candidate for the process of lung transplantation. So when these patients with chronic lung diseases have a downhill course with optimal medical management, if the disease continues to progress, making them oxygen or BiPAP dependent, this patient may be referred for further evaluation for lung transplantation. So when this group of patients become oxygen dependent or BiPAP dependent, when they start retaining carbon dioxide, when they have repeated hospital admissions or recurrent infections in the lungs, This is the time wherein these patients may require lung transplantation and should be referred to an appropriate center where lung transplantation is available. After a detailed evaluation by a lung transplant physician, this patient will undergo a pre-transplant evaluation, which includes pulmonary function testing, 6-minute walk test, CT thorax, DEXA scan, and perfusion scan, etc. After the detailed evaluation, there is a multidisciplinary team which is involved in the assessment of these patients for lung transplantation, which includes pulmonologist, intensivist, cardiac anesthetist, transplant physicians, there is a physiotherapist, dietitian, etc., who will go through the extensive reports of these patients and decide whether the patient is a good candidate for lung transplantation or not. If there are any shortcomings amongst the investigation, they needs to be optimized first before registering the patient for the process of lung transplantation. But here we should understand the timing of the lung transplantation is very important. The lung transplantation cannot be done too early or too late. If the patient once becomes bed-bound, oxygen dependent completely and completely debilitated, so he may not be an ideal candidate for lung transplantation. Similarly, if the patient still have a salvageable lungs which can be medically managed, he may not be a good candidate for lung transplantation yet. So this timing is very important here. Once the patient is considered to be a good candidate for lung transplantation and the timing is appropriate, he is registered for lung transplantation for the cadaveric lung transplantation program, and the patient will be put on the waiting list. Whenever an appropriate organ, which is blood group match, size match, is available, initial evaluation is done by the pulmonologist, and the transplant surgeons and cardiac anesthetists are informed. So they will go ahead with the procedure of organ retrieval and organ implantation. After the process of lung transplantation, patient is shifted for further observation into the transplant ICU, where the patient recovers, and once the new lungs are accepted well, the patient is taken off the ventilator, and further recovery of the patient happens in the ICU, followed by the ward. And patient has to be put on immunosuppression to prevent the rejection of the new organ. There may be prophylactically some medications which are given to prevent secondary infections, because post immunosuppression these patients are more sensitive to develop secondary infections. So once the patient has recovered well post surgery, the patient is able to walk around freely and patient is become oxygen independent, then patient is planned for discharge. Post discharge as well, the patient is kept under continuous follow-up with the help of a spirometric assessment, and the level of tacrolimus, which is one of the important medications to maintain the immunosuppression, is regularly monitored. These patients may require repeated bronchoscopies initially for toileting of the airways, followed by monthly, and after that once in 3 months, 6 months of biopsies of the lungs, of the new lungs, are required to look for any evidence of infection or rejection. So this is how lung transplantation process goes about. So lung transplantation definitely has become a boon for these patients with chronic lung diseases, and here at Aster RV have a comprehensive setup of lung transplantation program, which consists of a huge number of professionals, including pulmonologists, transplant surgeons, transplant physicians, intensivists, physiotherapists, dietary people. This requires extensive amount of technical skills to manage high-end equipments like ECMO and others. So lung transplantation can definitely be a significant improvement in the overall advances in the field of pulmonology, and I think this is going to definitely be the future of end-stage lung diseases.